The girl in the trash sky over Sector 6 was always dark. Clouds never moved. The sun barely touched the ground, and the air always smelled like rust, oil, and smoke. In the middle of this dead land was a trash field. Miles of metal, plastic, broken wires, and forgotten things. And inside that trash, something moved. A small girl. She wore a torn blanket over her shoulders. Her skin was gray-blue, covered in dust. Her hands were shaking as she picked through broken food trays and melted wires. Her name was Lyra. And she was alone. Every time she found something that looked useful. A voice behind her laughed. Look at her, again inside the trash like a rat. Maybe she's part rat. It was the guards. Aliens in shiny black armor, standing near the gates. They laughed. They threw small rocks near her to scare her. But Lyra didn't look up. She kept searching. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. She had no water, and her legs felt too weak to walk far. The other workers, aliens from many species, passed by. Some looked at her with sad eyes. Others turned their heads in shame. No one stopped. Lyra was the kind of child no one wanted to see. Half-blood, born to no family, forgotten by the system. But someone was watching her. A human man stood by a pile of scrap metal, about 50 steps away. His clothes were dirty. His beard was rough. His name was Ewan. He didn't move. He didn't shout. He just watched the little girl dig through the garbage like she was invisible to the world. He knew that feeling. He had once been invisible to then. Something happened. Lyra found a small food pod. It was cracked, but maybe there was something inside. She opened it with her weak hands. Just as she did, a guard walked over. That pod belongs to the zone, he said loudly. You steal, you pay. Lyra didn't run. She was too tired. The guard raised a small electric stick and moved to strike her. But suddenly, a voice called out, Leave her. It was Ewan. The guard turned. You speak to me, human. Ewan walked forward slowly. He didn't look angry. He didn't shout. He just held out a clean piece of bread. She's hungry, he said. Let her eat. I'll work double today. The guard stared at him. Then laughed. One trash creature helping another. Fine. Break your back if you want. He walked away. Lyra looked up for the first time. Her eyes were wide. Her lips cracked, but she didn't speak. Ewan knelt down. It's clean, he said, handing her the bread. You can eat it. She took it slowly. Bit it. Chewed. Her hand shook. Ewan waited. What's your name? He asked. She looked at him, unsure. Lyra. He nodded. I'm Ewan. A pause. Do you have anywhere safe? She shook her head. He stood up, then reached out his hand. Come with me, he said softly. I don't have much, but it's dry and quiet, and you won't have to dig through trash anymore. Lyra didn't move at first. She looked around. No one had ever said something like that to her. Not here. Not ever. Slowly, she placed her small hand into his. And followed him. The guards watched. Some rolled their eyes. Some muttered, stupid human. But others watched in silence. They saw something they didn't expect. Kindness. It made them uncomfortable. Ewan led Lyra past the garbage hills into a quiet area filled with broken buildings. He opened a hidden door under a scrap pile. They walked down into an old storage room, now turned into a small shelter. A bed made from cloth. A water tank, too. Light sticks hanging from the roof. Lyra stepped inside slowly. Her eyes were wide. This is yours. Yes, Ewan said. Why did you help me? He didn't answer right away. He handed her a small blanket. You looked cold. She sat on the bed, silent. Ewan sat on the floor nearby. He didn't ask more questions. He didn't touch her. He just watched the door, like he had done this before. And in that silence, something warm started to grow. Something that hadn't existed in Lyra's world for a long time. Hope. Asterisk. She had been treated like trash, ignored by all. But in one quiet moment, a human reached out his hand and said, Come with me. Asterisk. The shelter below shelter was quiet. Only the sound of soft dripping water echoed through the pipes above. Lyra sat on the edge of the cloth bed. Her hands still held the bread from earlier. She had eaten half. The rest, she wrapped in a napkin and hid under the pillow. Ewan noticed, but said nothing. The room was small. A broken heater stood in the corner. Metal shelves held tools, cans, and wires. A soft yellow light came from the glow sticks on the wall. For Lyra, it felt like a castle. She had never slept indoors before, never had her own space, never felt safe enough to close her eyes. She looked at Ewan. He sat across the room, working on a small metal box with wires. "What are you doing?" she asked quietly. "Fixing an old battery," he said. "Might power the heater again." She nodded slowly. "Why? Do you live here?" He paused, then answered, "Because this is the only place they stop looking." After some time, Lyra lay down. But sleep didn't come quickly. She looked at the roof. She remembered the cold ground, the trash, the voices calling her names, the rocks thrown at her back. Then she looked at Ewan. He had already fallen asleep, sitting, arms crossed, chin on his chest. He didn't snore. He didn't move. He just breathed quietly, like he had learned to sleep without dreams. Lyra closed her eyes for the first time in years. She felt warm. The next morning, on boiled water over a small heat coil, he poured it into a cracked metal cup and handed it to her. "What is it?" Lyra asked. "Tea, from dried roots. Tastes bad. Good for the stomach." She drank slowly. Bitter, but warm. "Can I stay?" she asked. He nodded. "As long as you like." Learning the space over the next few days, Lyra explored the shelter. There was a small water tank, a storage locker filled with old clothes, a shelf full of books, most about machines, stars, and Earth. One night, she pulled out a dusty book. Inside were pages with pictures, children laughing, trees, rivers. On the last page was a drawing of a girl in a red jacket, holding someone's hand. She pointed at it. "Who's this?" Ewan looked. "My daughter." "Where's she?" He didn't answer, just looked away. Lyra single quotes S. Story. That night, Lyra sat near the heater. She spoke slowly. "My parents were from two different species," she said. "Neither world accepted me. When they died, the zone guard said I was useless. They threw me near the garbage, said I could stay alive if I worked for food." Ewan listened. His hands clenched. "I tried to work," Lyra continued, "but when the food stopped coming, I searched the trash. That's when you saw me." Ewan nodded. Double quotes yes. "Why did you help me?" He looked at her. "Because I saw someone who didn't give up, even when the world turned away." The light returns. Over the next week, they built a routine. Lyra helped sort wires, cleaned the floor, read old books, learned how to fix simple machines. She asked questions. Lots of them. "What is Earth like? Why don't aliens like humans? What's a bicycle? Do birds really fly?" Ewan smiled for the first time in years. He answered them all. He told her about forests, about music, about pancakes and rain. She listened like someone who had never been told a story before, a gift of trust on day. Ewan gave her a small key. "This is for the door," he said. "I can open it." "Yes, you live here now. It's your shelter too." Lyra looked at the key for a long time, then hugged him without saying a word. Ewan froze, then slowly hugged her back. Inside the cold metal world, they found something warmer than fire, a quiet bond, born not from blood, but from trust. Why he helped with wind outside howled through broken buildings, but deep underground, the shelter stayed calm. Lyra sat near the heater, turning the pages of an old book. The pages were torn, some faded, but the pictures were bright. Forests, oceans, mountains. She had never seen any of those things, only piles of metal, smoke, and dust. "Did you really live there?" she asked. Ewan looked up from his toolbox. "Yes, before the war." "Why did you leave?" He put down the wire strip. And took a deep breath. The story of Ewan. "I was an engineer on Earth." Ewan began. "I built solar towers and communication stations. People trusted me. Then came the war. Many worlds turned on Earth. They said humans were selfish, greedy, loud. Some were, but not all. I lost my home during a raid. My daughter and I tried to escape." His voice became soft. "We made it to a ship, but there was only one seat left. I put her in. Told her to go. Promised I'd find her later." He looked away. "I never did." Lyra didn't speak for a long time. Then she said softly, "That's why you helped me." Ewan nodded. "When I saw you, cold, alone, silent, you looked like someone I once promised to protect. I couldn't keep that promise back then." He looked at her with tired eyes. "So I made a new one." Learning Moriac Day, Lyra grew stronger. She cleaned the shelter, fixed loose pipes, read maps, learned to power up old systems. Ewan watched her closely. "You're fast," he said once. She smiled. "You're a good teacher." He showed her how to use tools, how to fix broken drones, how to hide from patrol sensors. Sometimes she asked questions. "Why don't other humans come? Most are gone." The few who remain hide like me, will they ever come back? Ewan didn't answer, but his silence spoke loudly. First steps. Out city on afternoon. Lyra asked, "Can I go outside?" Ewan looked unsure. "Why? Just to see. Not far." He nodded but gave her a tracker and a small whistle. "If you're in trouble," he said, "blow hard." "I'll come." Lyra smiled. "Okay." She climbed out of the hidden hatch and stepped into the world above. The trash fields were still there. The guards still watched from towers. But this time, she walked differently. She wasn't afraid. A strange sight as she passed a broken drone pile. She saw something move. A child, younger than her, hiding behind a bin. His face was pale, his body thin. He looked like she used to. Their eyes met, but before she could speak, he ran. Lyra stood still for a moment. Then turned back to the shelter. A question that night. She told Ewan, "I saw a boy, hiding in the junk, like me." Ewan looked up. "Did you talk to him?" "No." He ran. "Maybe it's better," he said. "If they find him, they'll take him." Lyra stared into the firelight. "But if we don't help, he'll die." Ewan was silent. She looked at him. "Someone help me." Those words made Ewan pause. After a long moment, he nodded. "We'll find him. Together." Because once, he helped her, and now, she was ready to help someone else. The cycle of kindness had begun. The boy in the shadow sit was a cold morning. Dust floated in the air like ash. Metal scraps clanged as workers moved through garbage zones. Drones flew. Above, scanning faces. Ewan and Lyra walked quietly along the edge of Zone 12. Their eyes searched the piles. Their ears listened for movement. But the boy was nowhere to be seen. "Are you sure he was here?" Ewan asked. Lyra nodded. Double quotes, "Yes." He was scared, but not hurt. They walked farther. Then, behind an old vending machine, they heard a soft cough. Ewan raised his hand, a signal to stop. They moved slowly. And there he was. A broken voice of boy was hiding under rusted parts. His clothes were torn. His feet were bare. He held a sharp stick in one hand. When he saw them, he backed away. "Don't come close," he whispered. His voice was cracked, full of fear. "It's okay," Lyra said softly. "We're not here to hurt you. I don't trust humans." Ewan stepped back. "That's okay. You don't have to trust us. But we brought food." He placed a sealed pack on the ground. The boy stared at it. His hand shook. But slowly, he reached out. And ate. His name was Tama. He didn't speak much. At first, just small words, quick answers. But by the second day, when he followed them back to the shelter, he finally said, "My name is Toma." Ewan helped clean his wounds. Lyra gave him old clothes for 2 days. Toma said nothing more. Then, late at night, he whispered, "My parents were taken. Guards said they were too weak to work. I hid, in the trash, and watched." He looked at Ewan. "If they find me, will they kill me too?" Ewan didn't lie. "Maybe, but not if we keep you safe." The shelter grows. 3 people lived inside the shelter. They shared food, built stronger locks, added a new sleeping mat. Lyra and Toma often talked. She told him stories from the Earth books, taught him how to repair wires. Sometimes they laughed, softly, like birds who forgot they could fly. Ewan watched from a distance. He said little, but his eyes were warmer. Suspicion begins in evening. While returning from a scavenging run, Ewan noticed something strange. A patrol drone flew lower than usual. Its lights blinked red, scanning deeper. He ducked behind a wrecked shuttle. The drone paused, scanned again, then flew off. That night, he told Lyra and Toma, "They're watching this area more." "Because of us?" Lyra asked. Maybe someone saw you with Toma." Toma looked down. "Should I leave?" "No," Ewan said firmly. "We stay together." But inside, he knew. The clock was ticking. A whisper in the junk next day. While searching for circuit parts, Lyra heard something, a whisper. "You helped the trash boy." She turned quickly. An older alien worker stood nearby. His face was wrinkled, his eyes tired. "I saw you," he said. "I won't tell the guards. I just want to know." Why? Lyra didn't blink. Because he needed help. The worker stared at her for a long moment. Then walked away, spreading sparks soon. Others noticed. 2 more children showed up at the edge of Zone 14. Silent, hungry, scared. Ewan hesitated. "If we bring more, they'll find us." Lyra looked him in the eyes. "We brought one, and it changed him. What if 2 more changed everything?" Ewan closed his eyes. He thought of his daughter Dot, then said quietly, "Open the door." In a world where no one dared to care, one human and two children began something powerful, a quiet rescue lit by kindness. Asterisk, the first Flemish shelter was no longer quiet. Now it had 5 children, 3 from the trash zones, two rescued from the back of a transport truck, all silent at first, all broken. Dot, but inside the shelter, something was growing. Laughter, light, life. Training the new Hansuan taught them how to stay hidden, how to patch old filters, how to move when drones passed. Lyra taught them how to read the repair manuals, how to strip wires from old machines, how to listen and help each other. Toma became the scout. He was small, fast, and quiet. You watch. First, Ewan told him, so they never get close. The children called their team the Circle. No leaders, just one promise. No one gets left behind. Kindness reaches others. It started with a warm meal left behind a bin, then clean water in a cracked bottle, hidden under a stairwell. Alien workers found these things. At first, they were afraid. A trick. One said, maybe poison. But after a week, nothing bad happened. One worker said aloud, "This is not guard work. This is someone helping." A rumor begins. The whispered stories in the trash zones. A secret place feeds the weak. The human still lives underground and helps. The trash girl, she's alive, and she fights. Guards didn't believe it, but they noticed strange things. Broken cameras, old gates unlocked, sick workers who returned stronger. Something was moving in the dark, something they could not name. Danger returns in the morning. A guard spotted Toma. He chased him through Zone 11. Toma ran fast, just like Ewan taught him. He ducked into a pipe and vanished, but the guard found a torn cloth, and it had shelter dust on it. From the old mines. Now the guards knew where to look. Planning escape. "We need to move," Ewan said. "Move where?" Lyra asked. "There's a collapsed power tunnel. No one uses it. We can hide there, or build something better." The children were quiet. Then one girl, tiny, silent, raised her hand. "Will there be blankets?" Lyra smiled. "Yes, warm ones. They dig in secret ignite." 2 of them worked under the shelter floor. They widened the old tunnel, strengthened the walls, carried supplies down. During the day, they acted normal, weak, broken, silent. But under the ground, they were building freedom. A sign of trouble in the 5th night. Toma returned with news. "The guards are planning a sweep. They say a human is hiding rebels." Ewan stood still. "How long do we have?" "Maybe 2 days. Then we move tomorrow." The night before, Lyra sat by the heater. She held the Book of Forests. She whispered to herself, "Trees, sky, rivers. Someday, we'll see them, all of us." Ewan placed his hand on her shoulder. "You've done more than I ever could." She looked up. "You gave us the chance." He smiled. "No. You lit the fire, under trash and silence. They built something no one expected. A fire of courage, small but bright, ready to spread through darkness." The storm at the Gatit started just before dawn. Sirens wailed from the patrol towers. Bright lights flashed across the garbage fields. Loudspeakers shouted commands in many alien tongues. "Search every hole. Find the human. Bring all." A registered workers forward. The children woke in fear. Ewan was already at the tunnel door. "Go," he said. "Everyone. Now." Toma helped the smaller ones crawl through the tunnel. Lyra held the book tight against her chest. The first crash outside. Guards smashed through hiding spots. They kicked over scrap piles, dragged workers from corners, scanned everyone with red lights. One guard shouted, "The trash girl lives. She hides in the old shelter. Bring me the human who took her." Ewan stood near the exit. He looked at Lyra. "You lead now," he said. "But what about you?" she asked. He handed her the tracker. "They follow me. Not you. You get them out. I'll draw them away." Lyra shook her head. "No, not again." Ewan looked into her eyes. "This time, someone keeps the promise. The distraction is the children." Escape through the lower tunnels. Ewan stepped onto the garbage hill above. He wore a bright yellow cloth, impossible to miss. A guard spotted him. "Human, stop." Ewan didn't stop. He shouted something loud, not in anger, but with strength. "This place doesn't belong to fear anymore." Blaster shots followed. He ran across the metal hills, dived between broken ships. The guards chased him. They didn't notice the tunnels below. The rebel moment. Lyra led the children into the collapsed tunnel. They found a deeper cave, filled with old supplies and power cells. "We stay hidden here," she said. "What about Ewan?" one boy asked Lyra. "Look back. He gave us this path. Now we protect it." Toma placed the old sensors near the entrance. If anyone followed, they'd know. Something unexpected as guards chased Ewan. Something strange happened. A group of older workers stepped in their way. One dropped a pile of scrap metal. Another accidentally knocked over a food crate. A third pointed the wrong direction. Small axe. Nothing violent, but enough to slow the guards. Enough to help Ewan vanish into smoke and shadows. Later that night, Ewan found a hidden place near a broken power tower. He was bleeding, a cut on his leg, but he smiled. He opened a small comm unit and whispered, "They're safe." No one replied, but he knew Lyra heard him. Back in the cavern, children gathered around the heater. They didn't cry. They didn't shake. They were quiet, strong, because Lyra sat beside them, like a flame that would not die. "They'll come again," Toma said. Lyra nodded. Double quotes, "Yes. And next time, we'll be ready." They chased one human through fire and metal, but it was already too late, because his courage had already taken root in hearts that would never be silent again. Asterisk, the day they crossed the cave was quiet again, but not afraid. The children were not hiding anymore. They were building. Toma fixed the broken solar panels. Lyra drew maps of the tunnels. The younger ones learned how to wire traps and lights. Outside, the guards grew more nervous. Because the zones had changed, workers stopped looking at the ground. They started looking at each other. And for the first time, they whispered hope. Messages. In scrap, Lyra left metal signs near supply drops. A circle scratched into old plates. Beneath it, only one word: free. Soon, workers found these signs and followed the marks. They came with fear, but left with food, water, and purpose. The cave was no longer a hiding place. It had become a spark. A broken world noticed on morning. The zone commander arrived. His ship landed in a cloud of smoke. He looked around the garbage fields. "Where's the human?" No one answered. "Where's the girl?" No one spoke, but he saw it in every face, in every pair of eyes. Something had changed. They were no longer afraid. He gave up. The commander ordered a full search, but the soldiers moved slowly. Some missed their targets on purpose. Some said no signs found, even when they saw marks on the walls. And one day, the commander simply left. No speech, no threat. He knew. He could crush buildings, but not spirit. Quiet. Returments passed. One evening, Lyra heard the whistle. A soft sound in the tunnel. She ran toward it. Ewan was there, older, limping, tired. But smiling. "You're still alive," Lyra cried. "Barely," he said. They hugged. He looked around. "You built all this?" She nodded. "With what you taught me." He laughed softly. "Then I did something right." The circle gross cave became a school. A hospital, a command center. But not for war, for rebuilding. They called it the Deep Light. Everyone who entered found shelter and a new name. They were no longer trash. They were part of something real. A final gift on day. Ewan grew weak. He knew his time was ending. He handed Lyra a small box. Inside was the book, the one with forests and rivers. But on the last page, something new was written. "You were my second chance, and now you're the world's first." Many years later, Lyra stood at the front of a huge gathering. Thousands of freed workers. She held up a metal circle. "We were once silent," she said, but one man stepped forward and said, "Come with me," and because of that, we walked together. The crowd cheered. Above them, a new flag flew. It showed a girl holding a child's hand, walking out of a trash field toward the sun. One human didn't fight with guns. He fought with a gesture, a voice, and an open hand, and with that, he changed everything.